to Modern Male Radio with Jerod Zavistoski, right here on LA Talk Radio.
What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Jerod Zavistoski, and you're listening and watching Modern Male Radio. This is all the stuff your mama should have told you and the stuff your daddy never knew. And joining me tonight, as always, my co-host, Sarah Chapman.
I didn't lean in and interrupt this time. Are you proud of me?
There was no interrupting Cal this time.
It's for the holidays. I decided I'd be a little bit respectful and
I
stuff.
love how you get to compare yourself to a cow, but I don't.
I know. Well, actually, tonight I'm going to be Mrs. Claus, and I'm actually going to introduce all of our guests.
Awesome. Please do.
Big names and some big titles, and I'm going to get everything correct because I kind of just wrote it down. So, to my right.
Entrepreneur tip number 1, write it down.
I know, right? Just write it down. All right. So, Kurt Glasgow. Can everybody see him? I'm kind of blocking your view.
Hopefully.
All right, Kurt. So, you're Director of Sales and Marketing and founder of Nav Ads. Yes. Right? Got you?
And Director of Sales and Marketing for
Higher Connections Network. Higher Connections Network.
Sorry. And founder of Nav Ads.
And founder of Nav Ads. All right, cool. One down, 3 to go.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I don't butcher this. Sandra K. Yes? Sandra K comes to us as a Chief Visionary Officer and founder of Luxury Fashion.
Actually, also as Higher Connection Network. And
Yes. Founder of
Luxury
Fashions and the CVO for Higher Connections Network. Yes. Okay. Next to her, we have
CVO, so it's like Chief Visionary.
Chief Visionary Officer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, I want that title.
Pretty cool
This is
title.
where we're going, guys. It's like the Lewis and Clark of the team.
Yes.
Well, I wonder which one was like the paddler and which one was like the yonder. This is where we go. Like which one was Lewis the guy or was it Clark? Because I mean, Lewis' name always comes first, so you kind of like picture him up on the boat with a sharp point. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Somebody's got to have a paddle and some vision or something.
Exactly.
Steve Jennings.
Hey.
Steve Jennings, Chairman of Higher Connections Network, founder of Invincible Warrior Enterprises, also a best-selling author, lawyer, and United States silver medalist, and a 4-time All-American athlete. That's a lot of stuff right there.
Yeah.
What was your athletic? What was the athletic?
You familiar with the decathlon and the pentathlon? Those
Yeah.
Multi-event competitions?
Cool.
All those kind of things like that, yeah.
Awesome.
Sort of a, jack of all trades type, kind of an athlete.
Yeah.
Just kind of an athlete. You're so modest, so humble. Welcome to the show. And okay, I hope we get the name right.
Yeah.
Ashkan Tabibnia. Yes, did I get it kind of right?
Perfect.
Okay, yay. Founder of Higher Connections Network. And whatever else you'd like to say, because that's sort of all that I wrote down for you.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That's usually the community. We have multiple businesses that we founded one of the U.S. biggest conscious expo in March, LA Convention Center. It's called SN Expo. Also co-founder of Higher Experience. It's a Beverly Hills type lifestyle membership. I know we get ourselves busy.
You guys are all very busy.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
So we're gonna get you to speak in the mic a little bit.
Come right into it.
Yeah, get right in there. Just get in its face.
Oh, sure.
Because I mean, sometimes the audio can pick it up. I mean, I'm always like super loud, but if I'm super loud and everybody else is super quiet, it's annoying because people can't get their volume right. They're like, "Oh, there's Jerod," and they're like, "Wait, I can't hear that guy." "Oh, there's Jerod." It just goes back and forth. It sucks.
Jerod, you really need to speak up a little bit, project yourself.
Hey, that's what you got to do on the radio.
No, I don't think you do. Exactly.
You learn these tips and tricks after what is it? We're on 70. We're on almost 80 shows now.
I believe this is 75.
Yeah, no, I think it's 76.
Pretty sure it's.
I'm not sure.
Pretty sure it's 75, so it's a good episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
So awesome. This is really cool because this tail end of this month and then all throughout January, we're actually bringing in some really, really awesome dudes. And I know on Modern Male Radio, we usually have we do dating advice and we bring in girls that, guys would ordinarily be intimidated by. We kind of break down the processes by which men can, what these women like in men. But this month and next month, we're going to bring in the guys who are exhibiting those qualities, the guys that are making moves. And I don't think that there's anything more attractive than a guy who's out there in the world making moves and just, dominating his surroundings, setting goals and achieving them.
Possibly females that are out there doing these things.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah.
Just a little one-up on the attraction.
Oh, yeah.
And the first, in my book, the first most attractive quality is confidence. The second one is drive. And drive is simply having that ambition, going out there and achieving what you set your mind to. And for some reason, that's attractive. I think it's universally attractive. It's not just attractive to women; it's attractive to everyone around you. You know, you kind of magnetize people. When people see that you're that guy that gets it done, that you're that guy that says, "Hey, I'm going to be there," and then you make it, people are just like astounded. You know, and you inspire everyone around you. So I'm sure you guys have had, you know, a lot of experiences with that. Where did you start, and what were kind of like the first turning points? Like, were you always like this, or was there, you know, a kind of a change, a shift in your brain at some point?
You know, first of all, I want to just go back to the drive. That it's very important to have that, because you see people that they just they don't have that energy, they don't have that spark in their eyes because they don't have the drive, because it's not what they do for a living. And a drive, it's important because when there's a drive, then there's no push, and it just gets done. You're excited to get up. You're excited to go there, and you're excited to get, because that burning desire is really what it's about. And the core, actually, of all four of us tonight, we are self-motivated. The drive is there, and you're going to hear our stories and how we do it. And it's just sometimes people get lucky in life, and so, you know, they have coaches early on, or their parents teach them about the knowledge of, you know, go after your dreams. And they do, and they, through their quest, they understand what their life purpose is. And sometimes their passion is where they make money, and sometimes it's not. But when it does, I mean, it's magic.
Yeah.
There's magic when you know why you're here, and you follow your dream, and then you do what you're best at. Automatically, there's that spark. You don't have to follow up with anybody. It just is. And I want to also my team co-workers here also talk about that idea.
Well, you know, let me tell you, and I think you certainly know this, Jerod. The best motivation is what? It's self-motivation. And when you have that true entrepreneurial spirit, I've never known an entrepreneur that's been successful that didn't have that self-motivation, that drive, that ambition to rise higher and be better. Nobody had to tell him, you know, you need to do this, you need to do that. They're self-starters. They're leaders. They lead themselves. You know, they charge forward. I'll tell you this, as far as, you know, inspiring a young entrepreneur, I don't know if they need much inspiration. What they're going to need is they're going to know that, they're going to have failure. Yeah. They're going to be bona fide pros most of the time in failure. But what do? Those failures are going to hurl them forward. Because entrepreneurs, they know that, well, I got to know. I got to know. And what does it drive them to? All the yeses and the okays and the power that they're going to achieve again. Yeah. You know, so that's the way it always works. You know, I liken it to somebody that's an athlete. Now, a lot of entrepreneurs may not be athletic. Many of them are. But if they're not, it doesn't make any difference, because the same kind of spirit, the same kind of drive, the passion, determination, and perseverance, and self-reliance that an entrepreneur has, it's very much the same as an athlete. They're going to drive, they're going to overcome, nothing's going to stop them.
Exactly.
And so for today's, you know, interview that we have here today, it's not so much that we need to inspire an entrepreneur, but just to let them know that, hey, get ready for the setbacks. Get ready for the falls. Yeah. That's going to happen.
Get ready to lose, because it's going to make you stronger.
Get ready to lose. As I say, you're going to be a bona fide pro in failure. Yeah. You're going to be good at that. But at the same time, you're also going to be a winner, because you're going to know what it means to overcome and achieve, and what it takes. That's the key, what it takes. You do whatever it takes for a worthy cause in your life so that you can achieve and overcome. You know, people talk about, you know, do whatever it takes. You know, finding a way out of no way. You know, never let anything stop you. These are the kind of principles that are the lifeblood of an entrepreneur, because they're not going to get stopped. They're going to figure out a way. Yeah, they got hopes and dreams and aspirations, and they're going to drive to their dreams, because the dream of a passionate entrepreneur, that dream never dies. Yeah. And in my Invincible Warrior type of trainings that I do, my leadership trainings in the Invincible Warrior process, you know, the dream of a warrior never dies. And so the dream of an entrepreneur, it never dies. I've known some great guys, some great men that have been down, lost it all. You've heard about it. But guess what? They don't stay down. Yeah. Because they rise back up, because they're going to finish strong.
Well, they say that you know, as an entrepreneur, one of one of the best lessons that you can ever learn is to just go out and fail. Fail as fast as you can, fail as many times as you can, and then from there, you know what not to do. So then the only way you can go is towards forward progress. And yeah, they say what is it? I forget the percentage number, but how many millionaires have made millions and then lost millions?
Oh,
They
yeah.
lost it all and then come
It's
back.
over 90%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exhibit A, right here.
Made $1 million, lost $1 million.
But you got to know what it's like. If you don't know what it's like to be in the trenches, when
Yeah.
everything is kind of on you, and there's nowhere to look to your left and to your right, how you've got to make it happen to find a way out of no way. That's when you really learn what it takes to be in the trenches as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I can certainly
That's.
relate.
I mean, you can read. Listen, you can go to seminars. You can read things in books. You can you listen to MP3 CDs. You can do that all day long. You can have a library full of all that information. But until you live it, do it, and learn the lesson, not hear about the lesson, but live that lesson of what
Yeah.
it takes, then you know what it takes, and that's called wisdom.
Yeah.
That's called wisdom. You got to learn it that way. You can't get wisdom just by wishing and hoping and reading a book.
So we
Yeah.
can tie this directly into risk assessment too, like
Absolutely.
if you're a gambler or anything that you take risks on, or it's the same thing with people that work out gains and losses. It's the same theory that's applied across the board.
No, Hun, you're absolutely right.
Why, thank you.
I'm from Texas.
Hey.
I'm from Texas, so I say, Hun. By the way, you look so cute and fine tonight.
thank you
I
so
love,
much.
I love
Yeah,
that
huh?
Christmas.
It happens
that-
to be
I love
Christmas
this.
Eve.
I love this. You know.
I mean,
It's Christmas.
I just threw
It's
it
Christmas.
on and I was like, who's going to sit on my lap and
We
tell me what
have
they
to-
want?
That looks
Yeah,
perfect. It's
we
perfect.
do have to wish everybody out there Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Well,
Yes,
This
Merry
moment.
Christmas.
We have
Well,
to.
Yeah,
success,
I
happiness,
think, right?
It's
fortune,
Christmas
all
Eve.
these good
This
things.
is
It
what
is.
successful people do. They work on
Yes.
the holidays.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
You got to make moves.
Team
That's
no
right.
sleep, team no stop working.
Oh yeah, and I have a really severe fever, and I was bedridden all day.
You have every reason not to be here.
And yeah,
And we talked about that before the show, before we went on air.
that's why I didn't shake any guys' hands. I was like, no,
That's right.
no.
That's right.
But you just got to make it happen, especially when there's no other option.
Yeah.
And that would be a
show up.
perfect example of a drive right there.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. It's
Correct?
like showing
Yes.
you. No. the
And I'm
con-
like mind over matter. He's got an imaginary bubble over him, so there's no germs. So we're
No,
good.
the comment you made
You
was
know, our immune system's strong.
Yes,
We're good.
strong like a bull.
yeah. No, Jerod, the comment you made
Uh-huh.
before we went on air. You said, "Well,
I feel
you
bad.
got to show up,"
Yeah,
and that leads right into the essential theme that we have for this show.
yeah,
Is that's what warriors do. That's what entrepreneurs do with that true fighting, driving, never say die entrepreneurial spirit.
yeah.
And
Even
you've
when you
gotta
feel like crap.
Yeah, that's right. But you're here, and as far as the energy and the time, entrepreneurs, they very well know this is nothing new. There's no 9 to 5.
No,
Are you kidding?
No, it's a 24/7 job.
It's pretty
Yeah.
much 24/7. They do sleep, and they know how to sleep. They learn how to sleep and get.
They learn.
They learn how to get the most benefit from their rest, and they'll get up and going. This gentleman right here, I don't know how he's still standing. Seriously,
Yeah,
his pace and his hours that he spends on every single day, he's going on about literally maybe 3.5, 4 hours sleep maximum. And he's up and going and going and going and going. And
I'd like
going
to
and
train
going.
my body to do that.
He's got drive. I
That's
see it.
very
That's called
impressive.
drive.
Yeah.
Burning desire, right?
Yeah, that's right. He's not going to quit.
Or just an immunity to sleep deprivation at some point.
Yeah, possibly.
Something like that.
I know.
Well, it takes its toll on you because
Yeah.
that was something that I really wanted to train. I've always been upset that about sleep because I feel like sleep is an entire waste of time. I also don't dream. I know that's kind of a weird thing, but like I never dream. So it's like sleep is entirely boring to me, and I hate going to sleep. I have trouble falling asleep, and then I have a hard time waking up. So it's like, and I don't get started like real. Like I spent 2 hours just taking notes on my phone while I'm still like laying in bed and kind of
Yeah.
I do that too.
getting all that stuff done. But I recently discovered that my body naturally wakes up after 5 hours of sleep, and I was like, oh, cool. So I started reading articles on that, and I guess you can train your body to get less sleep, and there's like a method to it. And I was like, cool. So I'm gonna start doing that, and then I did that. But one of the things that happens in the beginning is your immune system gets lowered. So as I was doing that, it was
Yeah.
like, bang! Now you're sick, and I'm here. So
I should.
Yeah.
It's an
Uh,
adjustment. It's an adjustment. It's
I
an
should
adjustment.
recommend that the reason I'm doing that because I took a commitment to create a higher connection. It took me 7 years of probably 20,000 interviews, 500 masterminds, events,
Yeah.
expo that we're going to talk about. But I do not recommend people to do that because naturally there are 24 hours in a day.
yeah,
And people always want to try to break those hours on, it's good to sleep. But make sure people understand that when you have a goal and a desire that you need to do something, that's where your entrepreneurial spirit should kick in. But when you achieve your goal, it's really good to follow a 8-8-8 rule, which what happens, people really do, they think like, when I give them this knowledge, that you can sleep for 8 hours, you can work for 8 hours, and then you have 8 hours for yourself. And when I break things down, what I'm going to do for myself in 8 hours, it's really, that's why a day is designed for you to do that. That's really balance. Of course, unless you really take on a big challenge, and then you got to do it. But as soon as you achieved it, you have to go back to
8-8-8.
what's natural, because that's, everything's always beat.
That's good stuff.
Yes, you have to always balance things out when you
I've
achieve.
never really timed this. This is an interesting thing to me, because I'm like, 8 hours. What do I do in a day? Like, how many hours do I really spend just for me stuff?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, it's all me stuff. Let's just be honest.
The most,
All me stuff.
some of the most successful entrepreneurs that I've known, that I've worked with, that I've trained, that I've mentored, they understand the principle of balance.
Yeah.
I talk to people, I say, what's the second most important word in the world? And they think about it and they think, well, it's belief or something like that. I say, no, it's not belief. The second most important word, by the way, the first most important word
to ask.
Is love.
in the word, people say, well, what's the first? Well, it's a 4-letter word.
Love.
Is love.
Boom. Boom.
You got it, Jerod. That's what that's the most important word.
I was like, beer.
What
I mean,
can I
love.
say? What can
I gotta say,
Yes, it is. That's the most important word. It really is, because without that, you're not really going to have too much. But the second most important word in the world is balance. Now, if you really think about it, your life does have to be balanced. And most successful entrepreneurs that I know, they've achieved in a certain way where they supremely recognize that there must be balance. Steve Jobs certainly recognized it.
Yeah.
He recognized it very well about, someone's, mind, heart, body, and soul and spirit. How you have to have all those things aligned as one to become one. And so part of that balance is resting the human mind and the body. And they recognize that must be done. And of course, they've got times for others. Not just business all the time. They have time for themselves, recreation, rest, all sorts of other events. I mean, sure, they'll be working, being an entrepreneur almost no matter what they do many times, but there's always that balance aspect. Now, maybe young guys, don't get me wrong, because they're so driven and they want to drive.
Yeah.
Maybe they haven't had enough seasoning to see that aspect of balance. But usually when you get someone who has a little more wisdom underneath their belt, that have been through the trenches, been through the fires, they recognize, you better have some balance in your life. And you can still be supremely successful.
Yeah.
You still can. And most of these guys are, because you don't need to work 24/7. As a matter of fact, they can probably, as a lot of people know this, less hours, more effective, greater results.
Yeah.
They realize that. And it's the whole concept, it's a simple concept. Not working harder, but working
Smarter.
Smarter.
And so that's what happens. They learn how to utilize and draw the most from, guess what? The least. And that's part of balance, really becoming as one, as a businessman and things of that nature. Jerod, we want to talk about perhaps some nuts and bolts business, or just things of more of a spirit type of understanding with
Philosophy.
business.
Steve, give us your secrets.
Yeah,
We want
I
all
think
of it.
nuts and bolts
Want the whole
would be
thing.
great. I mean,
Yeah.
when I would listen to speakers or seminars, I've been to quite a few of them, and
Yeah.
a lot of that industry, I hated they would do the big long pitch, and then none of the actual nuts and bolts, none of the actual stuff, the real the stuff that you can hang on to and take from a seminar. It's great to get motivated and inspired, but it's like you're just inspired, but exactly where you were.
How do I do this?
The inspiration and motivation goes away.
Yeah.
And that's really important, that what truly sticks are the facts, or the what you were talking about, the ideas that brings a shift and breakthrough. Those are the stuff really matter.
So tell us about your company. Tell us about the nuts and bolts.
Well, our company, Higher Connection Network, we founded it, just an idea that came to me when I was 35. I was sitting at a restaurant, and it was just a download. I said, what if I create a community that is very empowering, and it puts relationship first, and then everything else follows after. Because as we know, with coming of cell phones and social media, especially Facebook, LinkedIn, which is wonderful for mass social media, the purity and the innocence of relationships, conversation has been lost.
Sure.
Sometimes you say, I have a best friend on Facebook, you say hello. A week later, they say, hi.
Yes.
Well, we said, okay, so how do we bring that back? I thought it's very simple. Just create these very co-creative, conscious, loving, empowering spaces, and let people just talk to each other. Because there's such a thirst for that, what we're doing here tonight.
Yeah.
And we did that for 7 years and said, how do you cap that? How do you limit that? Well, we can't. We let it grow. We have over 500 people that have been involved in our Higher Connection, as we talked about. We have many teammates, executives, chairmen. We have 1,200 experts, advisors, and masters in every level of business, entertainment, empowerment, PR, marketing, branding. We didn't want
Health, wellness, business, leadership, entrepreneurship.
We didn't want to do it all. Yeah, we didn't want to do it all, but we wanted to make sure we master really 5 areas. An area of empowerment, it's very important because it doesn't matter what kind of enterprise you have to be able to motivate your own employees and your customers,
Yeah.
And then also the second area is very important, is lifestyle, entertainment. You have to be able to entertain your customers and your employees. They have to have fun. That's what people miss. The third area, we make sure we
Just bring beer.
Yeah, drink beer.
Bring beer to work.
Right. Listen. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then PR, marketing, branding. Just make that fun. Make it out of the box. Forget about just do 1, 2, 3. Do the 3. As long as the customer is happy and you deliver their big why, they buy. And then, of course, we talk about money, how cash flow, passion, and investments will, and then at the end, how do you, when you have a business or a network or anything, how do you connect to other enterprises or businesses or affiliates without sacrificing your own culture or philosophy or your business? So that's why in those 5 areas, we took 7 years, all these people, and they have a lot of knowledge to pass over. As what he was talking about, the nuts and the bolts are about understanding people, their culture, their philosophy, their service, their business, their brand, their idea.
Instead of just imposing your stuff on
yes,
them. Like, here's what we've got.
Yes, you have to understand where they come from.
And infiltrating, understanding, and then pulling from that to offer what you can.
Right, and offer them a multitude of solutions that they're comfortable with to choose, and they should not be pressured.
Sure.
And there's magic with that. When they see you care, you want to know about them first, and we always, the way we do it, we call it like 3 steps to understanding people. First, we say, don't tell us about your service or what is ultimately you want to do. Tell us about you. So we get to know them personally. What some of the backgrounds. Of course, we don't want to know all the life.
It's not like, hi, nice to meet you. What do you drive? It's like, how are you? Nice
Tell us about you.
How are you?
Right.
Who are you?
And after we have understanding, we call that a story. The second thing we talk about them is like, tell us about your service or your product or yourself, And they tell us, and what is it that you want to sell, or where is it that you want to go? What's the next step? And then now tell us about your ultimate dream, that where is it that you want to be? When you have those 3 elements, they say, wow, he cares about me. Because what you do or the service, it doesn't make who you are. Who you are is who you are, and what you do is just great. It's what you do for a living. Together it's pretty good.
Ashkan,
so that's,
he's also we call it a master life planner. And with that, he has a very organized, rather expansive assessment of an individual, a profile that he establishes of an individual. And then from that, he's able to help lead, direct, mentor, and guide someone to be more successful in their business. But talking about businesses and nuts and bolts, when people want to start a business, perhaps, many times they think they need an elaborate business plan. As a lawyer, I've developed a lot of business plans, and I've read many as well, and been involved in them. And they're fine, and they can be good.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that's not the most essential thing to have as far as, doing the nuts and bolts, business plan if you're thinking about a business. And I mean, it's good to get organized. It's good to have all your ducks in a row. it's good to have all that type of structure, prepared to do your business, whatever it may be. You need to know about your business. Usually people, they go with their dream, and they learn about their business, they know about it very well. But really where it comes down to, and Ashkan was touching on this a little bit, is the main thing that you've got to have is, it's a very fundamental thing. And again, it comes back to personal belief and empowerment of oneself. It always comes back to that, because you're always going to have to that's, as far as nuts and bolts, the first thing you're going to have to know what your purpose is, what your belief is, what matters most to you, what your reason is that is going to allow you to never give up and to fight for that dream. That's really where it's going to always come down to. As far as knowing your business, listen, I've known so many men, and you've heard about it so much more recently, I'm sure. They didn't even have a high school education. A lot of guys maybe went to high school, maybe made it to junior year, and
I'm a high school dropout.
Well, there you go, another exhibit, and people are still successful because entrepreneurs, they learn, they're self-educated. They find out what
Google.
Exactly. Well, that's a whole different thing.
Google.
In the past, 15 years or so, that's changed the world a great deal.
I would spend, like, when normal people would go and veg out for 2 hours on TV, 3 hours on TV, like, I just had Google Fits, where I'd just be there and I would allow myself to go into that super distracting ADD rabbit hole. Where I'd be like, oh, and what's this? And it would pose more questions. And then I'm like, well, now I need to research this back to front, side to side. So I can figure out.
Absolutely. You're all over the place. But
it was fun.
But if you can condense it and learn from it and put it into, and actualize that into real terms, that's the nuts and bolts. Most of the nuts and bolts is, hey, I'm dreaming, I'm believing, I'm thinking, I'm hoping and wishing and praying, but hey, we got to actualize that. We got to get some traction. We got to get some action. We got to move these thoughts into some real tangible results. And a lot of people, they seem to mistake action for activity. You can have all sorts of activity and preparation, putting all your documents together, your business plan, an organizational plan, what you're going to do. You can spend, you're going, because
you just stay there.
It could just be busy work. It doesn't mean it's productive work.
Right, and that's not real action. That's an activity. That's not an action. An action is making that call, meeting someone, pressing the flesh, one-to-ones, getting an introduction, making an introduction, really getting some traction. Having people believe in your idea. Engaging them, inspiring them to understand what you do, to want to be a part of it. It's exciting to them. It's exciting to you. But how do you get other people involved? It's kind of hard to do it by yourself.
That's crazy. I mean, you're preaching to the choir here. Of course. But it's funny because you touched on one thing that I'd like to expand upon. That do what was it about your beliefs? You kind of do what you. I forget how you worded it, but you were like, you kind of have to do what's in you or whatever.
Well, no, you got to follow your dreams and do what's in your heart. That's what most people have to know.
So my biggest thing was I didn't really have any dreams for my life. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I figured I could love.
How can you? You said you don't dream.
Exactly.
There you go.
And I was talented in a few areas, so it was like, I had a kind of a gamut of options, and then I also I learned over the course of time that there were elements from everything that I've done that I loved. So when people would be like, oh, do what you love, chase your passion, I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm passionate about. I'll be super passionate about something, and then all of a sudden it'll drop off, and I'm like, okay, well, I didn't really want to do that.
But you have talents.
I'll think ahead. So I actually revised that, and one of the things that I put in one of the books that I'm going to publish here shortly is, you don't do what you love, do what you can't help but do who you are. Do what it is that you innately, you just do it. You can't help it. When you're there, you're on, and you can develop that. Obviously, you can pound on that, but what is most innate within you? What some people come in and they just start making things better and they start organizing stuff. Some people come in and they're immediate talkers. Some people come in, they're immediate leaders. And I think if you do what you cannot help but do, just whatever comes naturally, I think that will yield the best
that
results.
is a very, very essential I want to say mindset that gave me the drive to create Higher Connection Network, because it's very important to be in an ambiance or a community that is not judgmental. They don't attack you for your ideas. And if that community expands all over the world, people, like what you said, it's okay not to know. It's okay to still don't know what you're
Yeah,
passionate
you're
about.
never gonna know. You got to start driving forward and eliminate
to.
sort as
Yeah.
fast as you can because
Well,
life is
sometime-
short.
Sometimes you'll attract the people in your life who can point those things out to you.
Yeah, and that's another thing. You'll be driving forward, not knowing where you're going, and it's something that you could have never planned for. You would have never drawn this out in your business plan, but because you were in forward motion, somebody came in, an opportunity came up at that specific time, and it's like. It always happens like that. And sometimes it happens right after you quit. You're like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm done. I hate this.
Right.
I'm packing it up. This is stupid, And then, somebody comes in the next day and they're like, oh, by the way, there's this huge meeting. I really want you to attend. We'd like to buy your company or something. You're like,
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah.
It's very important to position yourself in ambience and communities that they celebrate that idea. Just because of that, what we have done, I happened to be in an elevator that I met this gentleman within 2 seconds with Sandra. And then
Yeah, that's how that happened.
within few days, he came downstairs to our office, which they call it the Vortex. and then he brought us here to meet you today.
yeah.
Exactly what you're talking about. You have to see
Good job. Good job.
A lot of people say that
That's right.
That's the way it works.
a lot of people say serendipity, but also you have to take charge because we also creators of our destiny. You have to place yourself in very welcoming environments, organizations that they have that mindset that is out of the box. And then that's where the revolution, and that's where we find the people that come and they become the next Googles and stuff like that. If you box people in, schools are great, education, there's nothing wrong with it, but they teach certain ingredients that you need in life, but they never teach, one of my favorite books of all time, of course, aside from Bible, is Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill.
Of course.
And as Napoleon talks about, they never teach you their life lesson, their real life mastery that when you come out of school, everyone's lacking.
Yeah.
So that's a curriculum that has to be infused in today's school.
That's beginning to
you guys
change a
don't
little bit.
have
Yeah,
to-
so there's this interesting TED Talk on that actually.
Yeah.
Where this Indian professor, he breaks down what it was, and he goes, so basically curriculum was a way to turn a living being into a computer system. We're going to teach them all of these fundamental principles. That way they can communicate unilaterally throughout the world. If we give them this knowledge, the knowledge never dies. That knowledge can be transported, here, there, wherever. That's kind of how it began. We had to teach people these core fundamental, and then obviously it grew into the monstrous business that it is today.
The educational system
Is a huge
is a
business.
huge monstrous business. That is a fact.
Yeah. For greatest religion, greatest business on earth, religion. Second greatest, politics or government, and then the third is education. Those are the top three
Yeah.
businesses in
Yeah.
the world.
You know what's about to take over all three of those?
What you think?
It's called oneness.
Oneness. Okay,
We
cool.
are
Wow.
one.
We like that one.
And that's partly what connected us all here too.
Oh,
'Cause
wow, that's-
even Steve mentioned it. Oneness it's all about, connection.
It's all about sitting as close as you can to your guests on the show.
Yeah, especially
We're so one right now.
Just hug.
Just,
Just
yeah,
hug it
when
out.
you look like
I
Sarah,
don't have
you
a
got
problem
to
with
get
that.
close.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That is oneness.
For oneness,
Yeah.
I think that
you should move a little bit
I'm ready to
on
sing
this side,
Kumbaya
so-
up in here.
so you can have you have a oneness going on this side too.
Just lots of hugs, guys. I'm just gonna get inside.
Just good, warm, fuzzy
you
feels.
two get close.
Like you're so sexy right now. I just want to be inside
Just
you.
one with the microphone, one with the guests.
Give me a hug, bitch.
Touchy feely.
So you guys
go
have
back.
this is a coaching program, and you guys have such a. So basically, what you do is you connect. Obviously, you do like a
Like-minded.
mentorship.
Like-minded.
Is there a
mutually.
mentorship school involved, or is it basically just like it's like an elite club where you meet guys or women who are involved in very, very. It's basically a paid networking program.
All the above.
Okay.
All of the above and
Make
more.
it easy for you.
Yeah.
All
Shut
the
your
above
cell
and more.
phones off, shut the social media off. We're all going to get in one huge room type of thing and get to know each other, right? That type of thing.
I think it's actually cool that like you guys actually go out and have drinks and stuff, right? Like it's.
Yeah, we have settings that are business settings that, we just have people let them first get to know each other a little bit, get warmed up, and then we always, when they're like 20, 25, we try to keep they're weekly, and we have summits too, but the weekly ones, we make sure we introduce everybody who they are, what is it that they do, and what's their big why. Because when people hear that, that's very good. They remember who they want to talk to. And then we have a speaker as Jennings,
Yeah, I was gonna say this guy's definitely a motivational speaker.
and we bring people like him that speakers are great, but we usually try to shop to go after people who have unique knowledge, and they have a presence, and they bring shift and breakthroughs on the spot. Because when you give that to people to come to you, and they feel welcome by doing introductions, and then such a speaker, and after that Q&A, and then they get to talk to their favorites. It becomes a heaven.
So this one time, this girl shows up in a Santa hat, and it's nowhere near Christmas time. But she's familiar. She's, a nice person. That would be me. Hi.
We would love you.
Come.
Yo,
We would love you.
I-
At any time of year.
Tuesday.
And you guys might have missed it, but I did
It'll be
invite
like
you
March.
guys to our office in
Tuesday.
Beverly Hills.
I do remember that.
Vortex.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
Vortex.
Good.
Vortex.
I forget what happened, but stuff got real crazy after that. We got a couple different projects that we're working on, so yeah, no, I am not a flake.
The world shouldn't end tonight or tomorrow or New Year's, so we'll make it happen.
Cool. Yeah, I know. And we want to come down. We're definitely going to go scope this out. We will come back on the show and relay our findings for you guys. So that'll be cool. We can have like a follow-up show at the end of January, kind of see what we're learning.
Yeah.
Come back here all excited, like, yeah! But like Les Brown is a member, right?
Well, not a member, but because we are so out of the box, we have major affiliation and partnership with some of the world's elite, as Secret Knock, which is actually founded by Greg Reed. Greg is the current Napoleon Hill of our time with Chan Lecter. So because of the expo that we did, what we did, just so you guys know, for the past 7 years, what we involved, how do you monetize that? How do you show the universe you can do what you did? Well, so we didn't know. Said, well, let's do an expo, a conscious expo, and said, what do you call it? Ascent.
Yeah, that works.
So we just didn't know how to do it. We just said, okay, how do you do that? Well, let's get LA Convention Center. We booked it, and we didn't have the budget yet. We just booked it, and said, somehow when you take the first action, everything else happens, And then we found a great sponsor that sponsored, of course, very, very budget friendly.
Made it happen.
Yeah, and then that gave us the idea to have 144,000 square feet.
Yeah.
And because of budget, people thought we were so smart because we had these very big circles of every area. We had conscious area, green, empowerment, speaking engagements, business, finance, and it was all open, and then it grew up in all the TED Talks, and because of that, we showcased all of what our talents, what we can do at one time, in 3 days. 9 to 5 was the days that we did.
Yeah.
But then after 5, because we know how to do events.
Yeah.
Then 5 to 10 at the LA Convention Center, we had after parties
Sweet.
and meetups, and then after. That gave us the edge to, we had franchise.
After. What happens then?
After starts at 10
We don't
p.m.
want to talk about that.
Because he mentioned Les Brown. We had Michael Beckwith that opened the whole thing up.
Yeah, he's great.
We had Frank Shankowitz. We had Jennings, Olympian, and we're going to talk about him in a second. 120 speakers. We had 60 singers. We had over 20 fashion. That's how we met Sandra.
Excellent entertainment.
I want to cover
Singers,
Sandra.
promotion, dancing.
60 singers in 3 days?
We
I'm
have
going to tell you. I'm going to tell you
pretty
what.
good show.
Now, why do we have Sandra
Later
here?
on in the evening when we do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Just to give you an idea.
they're excellent.
I have some singers to bring to the table. But yeah, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So my takeaway, I have so much blessing just from that expo. I meet Sandra. She brings all these amazing, never been seen before dresses that they are flowing like art in. The fabric is like from Italy, and the colors are crazy, and somebody's singing, and the
Let's get her. Can you move that mic
beautiful.
just a tad? Just turn it
Europe.
like that.
So
Because you're over here quiet in the
It's a
corner.
full
You haven't got to
house.
say
We have
anything.
to kinda-
So
I'm okay being quiet though.
you're the
We'd
CVO,
love to hear from you.
Chief Visionary Officer. What is your vision for Higher Connections? What is it? That's what it's called, right? Higher Connections.
Yeah, to
That's good.
combine
Okay.
everything that we have.
I just want to interject because
Yeah,
I feel
Yes,
like you.
do that.
She did have 53 songs of her own from Germany.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Music is one of her passion. Film, she has 7 plus. That is huge on that. And fashion is just 2 years, and she is 90% blind. So she only sees.
What?
Yeah. I want to tell you what kind of people we have. So she only see 10%, but when you see her fashion, the colors that she has created, every every color has been inspired by a period in her life and has a theme and has a story. And I mean, the way they were moving, it was art. And I just want to tell you, just that, I met her. She became my muse. She moved into our vortex, and she's been there ever since 8 months. And we've been able to create, of course, her universe, what we do, and expanding to partnership with Steve Jennings that we talk about in a bit. So now I want you to a little bit talk about yourself.
Okay. Well,
Bring it.
what I envision
Bring it
for
on.
this company maybe is to combine real estate,
Okay.
empowerment, entertainment, and technology. With entertainment, I do mean fashion, music, film, and also art.
Mm-hmm.
And hope to maybe find a way to unite the world, get the cultures together, and take it
We are one.
internationally.
We are one.
So
You're
that's
one.
where it all works and comes together, I guess.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So great. Awesome. And so what was your, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your official title of the company.
Chief Visionary Officer.
No, yeah, you, chairman, okay.
Yeah.
So you're the CEO,
Yeah.
owner, founder, chairman, chief visionary officer, marketing, right?
Marketing
sales.
Sales. Okay, cool. So, which brings us to our next question. I mean, you guys don't have to answer this on the air, but what is your price points? How does somebody get into that? Are there any prerequisites? Do you make them background check? Like, do you weed people out?
No shoes, no shirt, no service. Like, what
yeah.
kind of things do we have
I
here?
love to answer that question. When somebody comes to us, they have to have a gleam in their eye. I after 20,000 interviews, you it's like muscle.
Yeah.
It's like you interview people. So people come to us and they just have that look, and because of law of attraction, those kind of people to us, and they say, "Wow, is this a place that allows you to grow and create and flourish?" You're right. And then sometimes it's not about the price. It's first about the individual, and of course, one of the basics we have a yearly membership that is $499, and that gets them that very famous Tuesday Power Tuesdays that we talked about with a speaker at every Tuesday,
Okay, cool.
and then a summit. So I just want to just touch on this. Yes, we do have price point, this and that, but really,
And
but
that's
at-
called higher experience.
Okay.
That's the higher
But I
experience.
really want to point out that if people take time to create value first and deliver service,
Yeah.
there always people will follow, and it has to be pure. You have to have integrity, because at that moment you have a lot of power, because we know people, and because of that access, like you said, Les Brown, we are connected with the Napoleon Foundation, Secret Knock that we co-producing actually in next one in Beverly Hills,
Okay.
and in Germany, which is it's rated number 2, but by Forbes, and we are connected with the next biggest Grammy party at the with Richard Branson, and it
Whoa.
brings us all this
Yeah.
access.
Yeah, that's cool.
Just,
Coming up in February.
so just touch on that.
As far as all the events that we have and the access that we allow individuals that are involved in our Higher Connections network, believe me, it's a wonderful opportunity for people to be involved because of the access and the contacts. And, people use the term, it's probably overused, power networking, but
Yeah.
everybody wants to have power networking, but the individuals that are aligned with us, they're either successful already or they have great potential to be successful. They need to be around others that have actually done it.
Yeah.
And the access to individuals that could give them guidance and leadership and mentorship is all there within our exclusive group. That's what we provide. And, it was touched on earlier by Kurt. He said something that a lot of people hear about today, this, the attraction factor, things of that nature. But we do seem to attract or draw people that want to be involved, that want to be in something that's higher,
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
stronger, that's better, that's more exclusive. Not exclusive in the way that, it's too elite of a
Yeah.
nature. It's friendly. It's people engaged. It's just real human beings at the same time.
Would it be fair to assume that the only rule is that you need to have the drive and ambition to succeed?
Well,
Yeah.
And you have to be conscious and nice.
Okay, so no assholes.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
they'll be gone. We're not going to have that.
If I could just share, when I met Sarah and Jerod, you guys, the energy that you guys gave
There you
off
go.
Some good energy that
is
night.
what is it was great energy. I'm not.
You're welcome.
Why, thank you.
Yep.
It's what attracted me to you, and thus made me think. First I thought like, oh wow, let me connect them to Higher Connections. Because you guys have that amazing energy as your fans.
That magic.
Everybody
They
knows.
have that magic. They
You
got that.
have
They got the stars in their eyes, the green.
You
It was
have that.
magical.
It was magical.
It was actually. It was a
Sweet.
very magical meeting.
I'm gonna start blushing.
By the way, Jerod, you could come. I have to check, of course, with Ashkan on this, but I'd even propose that you come and do a special presentation on a Tuesday night to the entire networking group.
I'd love to.
Absolutely.
And you would do that.
And you have a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have a book.
Sure.
upcoming
And you
book.
have a book.
That's right. And by the way, Les
book is
Brown,
coming up.
Good friend of mine, Les Brown. We actually spoke together a few months back.
Oh.
Les just
Small
wrote.
world.
He wrote an incredible, powerful foreword to my upcoming book called "The Way of the Invincible Warrior." It's a tough love philosophy for overcoming achievement.
Awesome.
It was by Les Brown. He's just a powerful endorsement. And
He's
forward
my
to the book.
favorite.
Yeah, Les Brown. Hey, you got to be
Hungry.
Can we all say that together? That's
I
right.
am ready to eat.
But yeah, and the thing, yeah, right. But the thing about it is,
For knowledge.
there are so many events all over the place. People hearing speakers, this, that. But when there's a speaker that's been exclusively, chosen to speak at our event, they're going to deliver experienced, valuable content to those that are there. It's just not, oh, okay, we got another speaker. People at our events, they're people who are doing something, have done something, and they've definitely got something to say, and they can deliver it in an organized, passionate, helpful way to those that are involved. It's just like, okay, well, we're going to go. Don't get me wrong, I'm not putting down the Rotary Club, but it's not like it's just a speaker that, okay, you're going to go to the Rotary Club, and it's nothing like that. These are people that have done it, that are doing it, that really can give advice and guidance and counsel and direction to those that are listening. Real actionable advice that's going to give somebody some traction and say, oh, that's good. That's a real, wow, that's a good moment that really caused me to think. That's an aha moment.
Yeah.
All throughout. We've just got so many great speakers.
Yeah. If you get an aha moment once a week, it's worth its weight in gold.
It's usually daily. He's humble. At 28, he had an accident and he passed away. And while he was there in the corner and he had the white sheet on, somebody said, it's moving. 3 months, it's a long story, but just short. 3 months later in coma, came out, and from waist down, he was paralyzed for life.
Wow.
So he looked, there was this other person, and they call him Bob. In Vietnam, he went over a mine, and he practically, half of his body was torn apart.
Oh, yeah.
And that was also, they call him that thing. He was there too, and I'm just going to connect the stories. And then they put him in bags, those pieces of bodies, and said, that piece is moving. They took him, and and I think there was God that the blood was stopped, and he came back and from Vietnam, and then he was upset what they're doing to the veterans. So he started walking from Los Angeles with his hands to Washington, 3.5 years, over 30 years ago. And this gentleman, that was one of his inspiration, said, look, I'm here depressed, but Inspiration Bob just walked from here to Washington. So I'm happy just having my half of my body connected.
Yeah.
Started meditating, thinking, got the feeling back to his legs. I'm getting goosebumps every time I say the story. And he started wobbling, walking, running to what you heard. At 60, if may I, he looks 50, but he has 8
So you're
pack.
talking about him. You
Well, he was
did all
talking
this.
about Bob
No,
Whelan.
I'm going to connect. I'm going
He's
to
talking
connect.
about Bob
Okay.
Whelan,
Yeah,
who
I'm going to
went
connect.
across the United States on his hands because he has no legs.
Okay.
But
He's
that
talking
was
about
your
Bob.
motivation.
Bob's a friend of mine, and a long time ago, during my comeback of being left on the side of the road for dead, with no heartbeat, no respiratory function, and Ashkan was mentioning the white sheet. Well, basically, they covered my body because they didn't want the passersby to see the body that was inside this mangled metal, the vehicle I was in.
Uh-huh.
So they just covered me in a sheet. And of course, luckily, one of the medics that was stopping, they were going back to their trucks and their support vehicles, and one man happened to take a look back, and he looked at my vehicle, and he thought he saw the sheet moving.
Yeah.
And then he kind of stopped, and all the rest of the men kept walking towards the vehicles. He stopped and took another look, and he saw that sheet move again. He says, "My God, that sheet's moving." So he raced on over there to the sheet they'd covered me with when I had no heartbeat, and he just pulled the sheet back, and he was shocked. They took my vital signs again, and my heart had somehow begun again. I had a heartbeat again.
Weren't through living.
I had a little bit of breathing again. Now, of course, they took me back to the hospital. I was in a coma for 32 days, and it was a long comeback. I won't go into all of that and what it took to come back. Basically 2 decades of my life, 4 years to learn how to walk, 14 years additionally to learn how to run. But I wanted to come back. But during that time, and this is what Ashkan was talking about, is back in 1983, I saw this man named Bob Whelan. And he was walking on his hands across America. And he, not only did he not have 2 legs, he was literally severed just below his hips. He didn't have any leg left. It wasn't just sort of, his legs were gone from all the way up.
Wow.
Just below his butt. I'll even say that. He had no legs. This man went on 2 hands going like this.
All the way.
Took him 3 years, 8 months, and 6 days. And I saw this man on television while I was in a wheelchair. And I thought, my God, I've got legs. This man doesn't even have legs.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back. I'm going to find a way. I don't care if my chance is as small as a mustard seed. It's a chance.
Yeah.
And this man didn't have legs. He could do it. So I saw Bob Whelan as a young guy. I thought, listen, how in the world can I feel sorry for myself?
Yeah.
There's no room for any excuse here. I'm coming back. I mean, I knew it anyway, but it was additional extra inspiration to see Bob Whelan, doing what he did, on his 2 hands. 3 years, 8 months, 6 days.
Yeah.
He had a purpose and a drive. And so this is what Ashkan was talking about.
We do have to wrap up here. We have like 2 minutes left.
Okay. But at the same time, that's something that our listeners can attach themselves to. Mm-hmm. We started with, hey, you're going to have failure. It's not going to come easy. You're going to have setbacks. But if you drive through and you continue to your dreams, you'll make them happen. And tenacity can make a poor man wealthy, and it can make a sick man healthy if you got tenacity in your heart and your soul. And that's where the magic comes in life. That self-belief, that self-confidence. Listen, self-belief is a mighty blessing that any successful man has. And it's a fundamental thing, and maybe it doesn't sound too sexy, but self-belief is pretty key, pretty essential. You got to have that self-belief. You got to have that confidence that you can't overcome.
And there were times when I didn't have self-belief. I didn't believe in it. I was just willing to die for what I wanted.
There
so
you go.
It was like fear, fuck it. It didn't matter. It was like you aren't gonna die, so just do it.
Right.
Or you could die. But I made it kind of that life or death thing. But I gotta get you guys to where can we find you? Where can people find you? Where's the social media? We gotta get
Facebook,
through this.
Instagram, whatever you.
Okay.
Well,
Do you have one last thing to add?
They can go to Ashkan Tabibnia, ASHKNTABIBNIA on Facebook, Higher Connections Network. That's the best place to find us, or higherconnectionsnetwork.com. And that's really what we came here to show you guys, some of our amazing leaders.
Your roster.
That they really defy the odds and limitations. And that's what happens in life. And entrepreneurs are really the living testimonial of that. Serial entrepreneurs, people who have ADD, they don't have ADD. They just are gifted. Yeah. And I wrap up with him, just looking at Kurt and his dreams. And I'm very happy to be part of Navadas. That when we're going to pass by the next billboard, it's going to come on your cell phone. And that's his technology. And that's we celebrate everybody. Everybody's ideas and vision becomes our mission.
Awesome. Thank you.
And if anybody would like to get some contact information here, my name is Steve Jennings, and it's simple. You go to stevejennings.com, or you can get Steve Jennings on Facebook. And if you find Invincible Warrior, you'll probably find it there. And if you go to invinciblewarriorbook.com, invinciblewarriorbook.com, you'll get some good information there.
Perfect.
Okay, so Sandra?
Well, you can basically find me for you three guys.
Oh my God, that's very good.
Okay, that works.
Makes it easy for me.
And Kurt?
Yep, and look, I mean, she's being modest, but luxury, that is her line. Look her up on YouTube, Luxury by Sandra, Xandra. And I'm Kurt Glasgow, Higher Connections. You'll see me when you see Higher Connections. And I love you all. We are one. That's it.
Perfect.
This was fantastic. Thank you for today. Thank you. This was
Thank you
special.
so much
Awesome.
for coming.
I'm really glad to have you guys. Yeah, we've maxed out our time. So
Perfect.
you can find Sarah. You can stalk her at Sarah Beth Harris, and you can find me at modern.mail on Instagram, Mail Methodology on Twitter, and you can find us on Facebook, Jerod Zavistoski, or the Modern Mail Movement. You can find us at modernmailinc.com, and if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. That's it for tonight, folks. Thanks for tuning in to Modern Mail Radio.
Happy holidays.
You're listening to Modern Mail Radio with Jerod Zavistoski, right here on LA Talk Radio.